Good day, everybody. Santa Clarita openhouses.com. Today's going to be the 20th of July, 2026. And let's get into your show. Let's figure out what's happening in this market. Right now, 809 active total properties that are active in the MLS for sale. You can find all these at Santa Clarita openhouses.com. What I did is I made sure that I differentiated between the active, the backup, and the pending. You'll be able to see all those different statuses. I also put coming soon up there. So right now, today, 809 total active single family residences, condominiums, townhomes, all Santa Clarita Valley cities. That's going to include Acton, Agua Dulce, Castaic, Canyon Country, Newhall, Saugus, Stevenson Ranch, and Valencia. So there's that. The in escrow properties, what I made sure of, 165 of those are in process. There's two types of escrow as far as the MLS is concerned. And this would concern you if you happen to be a buyer, also a seller, just in case you're trying to gauge the market and figure out where your house happens to be by looking at really true MLS data. Besides, no registration at Santa Clarita Open Houses. You just search. I have all the sold listings. I think I have 11 years in there. It's a whole bunch. But anyway, I built all that myself. So you have 105 in escrow. Of those properties, you're going to have active under contract or active backup. Those are properties where, with all intended good purposes, a seller would like to still offer those to the public for the viewing, for the consideration, and then potentially for the offers because they want to get backup offers just in case that offer they're in escrow with falls out. Why does it fall out? People change their mind. People find out, discover things about properties. And I'll give something about that for you sellers out there. Also for your buyers, different strategies might indicate that later on you kind of wait until it's time to remove contingencies. Then you try to stiff arm the seller, blackmail, or extort really harsh terms for basically just say, hey, I want to buy your house, but I got these feelings, and maybe you can give me a $10,000 credit, that sort of thing. And that happens. There's ways to fix that. I'll get into that in just a second. But so that's how many properties are in progress, and in the last 30 days, 224 actually closed all across the valley. Now we have 100. This breaking this down, you can see that we also have 13 properties coming soon. You won't see that here, but you'll see it at Santa Clarita openhouses.com. I put that there. That's going to run the span. You'll see those there actually before they hit that active market for sale. And then 59 closed in this past 30 days. We have a supply of inventory of 3.6 months. So if nothing sold, excuse me, nothing was listed and properties kept selling at the same rate, in about 3.6 months, we'd be done. We'd have no more inventory. So that's also known as the absorption rate. Absorption rate. All right. Moving on to the next page. Let's talk about 30% of these Santa Clarita listings over 60 days old, which is interesting. And 246 of the valley's 809 total active listings have been sitting more than 60 days. Pricing thing primarily. There could be some kind of functional obsolescence. Maybe the house is going to carry a few percentage points as far as buyers' interest. If you have the gem, the diamond, you're going to get a lot of activity. If you're fighting that and you have a property that really isn't located on the beaten path, not a lot of people might be viewing it. They can't really situate themselves in living there. Maybe the agent hasn't advertised and marketed enough to the people that do want to live there. And that might be a good indicator for agents. And I do suggest this in training. Go talk to those other neighbors that live in this remote area and find out why they're there. And then maybe see if they're interested in doing an interview. Maybe not a video interview, maybe just an audio interview. Maybe like a secret agent or interview where you're talking to them, but their face is blurred out or they're wearing some kind of a disguise. I don't know, kind of make it fun. But people, when they see those videos, right, they'll say, well, yeah, I never thought about it. Maybe I do want to live in the middle of not very many things, people, all that stuff. All right, so I also broke it down here as well. I was talking about before where buyers actually cancel deals over maybe things that were discovered. So a lot of times when buyers are either going to cancel, a lot of times the cancellation back on market properties at 30% in this current market, these are properties that don't make it all the way through escrow. Most of those times, those buyers canceling those has nothing to do with the seller's, the property itself. The buyers have done something. Could have screwed it up, could have gone out there and, financed a Ford Raptor. That's my favorite example. $130,000 truck, $150,000 electric Escalade with a sports package. Those are lovely. But they could have gone out and done this. And then once they do that, even if they just have their credit run because they're waiting for the house to close, but they want to jump on it, they go in the dealership and they talk them into checking their credit. That creates problems, big problems. And sometimes you can't recover even if you bought nothing. So before you do anything to change your credit profile, have your credit ran, pay off a $50 JCPenney charge card, ask your lender. And when the lender says over the telephone all day long, no problem, piece of cake, we got this, you're good, just do it, enjoy, live your life, say, okay. And you follow up that with an email. You say, hey, we're talking today. You told me to live my life. It's okay to go buy this $150,000 car while we're in escrow. You might see a different response. Always follow up everything in an email that somebody tells you that makes it very dependent on whether you're going to succeed or not succeed at your particular endeavor. All right, last 7 days, 53 closings. Median price $800,000. Average $844,757. We got $428 per square foot. That's the average. 22 days on market. We also have, this is also interesting here, properties over 30 days, 224 closings. Median price on those $802,500 and $413 per square foot. And that's where those are. So moving on to the next one, Stevenson Ranch, 1.16 million, and Newhall 510. That's the same valley. A big difference in prices, at least at this particular time. For this snapshot, something to look at as well. And then I also put up a market stats page at SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. Get here, and you just go ahead and go to market stats. Let me do that real quick. And this is where you're going to get a lot of the actual what's happening. There it is. And you're going to get a lot of what's happening here. So this is really good stuff here. So let me pull this down. So under each of these particular current listings, and this is updated every few minutes throughout the day, we have Valencia, and this breaks down to this. And this is a question a lot of people have. Exactly what is the inventory? So in Valencia, full 256 active broken down. That's out of that 809, right? So you have 256 active. In Valencia active under contract 34, in Valencia pending 57. That's where I separate these two. Closed in the last 7 days 26, 30 days 85, 6 months 453. But then you have single family broken down, 125 of those, 73 condos, 58 townhomes, and you can click on those. And I have the cool old hourglass indicator, but you can pull those up as well and see all that activity. Same thing Canyon Country, same thing Saugus, same thing Newhall. Same thing, Castaic, the whole 9 yards. So I put all that in there so you would be able to understand as a real estate seller or buyer what's happening. And I think I have 11 years of track record history for sold properties as well, which is, you're interested in that. Make sure that you pull that up and let me know if you want to get some kind of an evaluation. But whenever people are evaluating property, here's one thing as a seller, so you don't fall into that over 60 days on market time frame. You need to look at the values in comparison to your residence properties in close proximity. I've seen these syndication sites, Zillow and these others, that actually send out valuations on properties that are very, very far away, and they're not running the same numbers. So if you're looking into selling your house that's in Valencia, and the professional or website or whatever you're going into is pulling properties in Castaic, that's a whole different market. It's not one that's worse or better. That's just a different market. So an appraiser isn't going to look at it that way. So let's say your house is Valencia, and within a half a mile, you don't have anything that's sold in the past 6 months, or at least 3 properties that have sold in the last 6 months. That's fine. Expand that a little bit more, but stay in Valencia. And let's say we exceed Valencia, we need to go into another city like Saugus or Canyon Country, wherever. I don't know if that's going to touch, but Saugus definitely. And Castaic might butt up against it in some places. Newhall definitely, and Stevenson Ranch as well will hit Valencia. But if you have to go in these different areas, there has to be explanations. But you really need to then evaluate those properties, what they're selling for, to make sure the valuations are fair. It's not going to be a problem finding those, but a lot of people are using other zip codes, other cities to be able to formulate values. Then when the seller goes on the market, they're like, well, what happened? Well, yeah, you were priced incorrectly for the market, your position, your property on the market. So make sure you get all of that information before you put a price tag on it and have your agent throw it up with the marketing and advertising on the MLS. And we do this all the time for sellers as well. Houses 870, townhomes 630, condos 459. That's where these are actually running in the Santa Clarita based on averages all across the board. So it's something to be aware of. And you have 12 homes staged to hit, 6 of them in Valencia. These are the coming soon listings. You'll be able to see all those here as well back at SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. I actually put them here on the homepage. So if you scroll down, you'll see each of the coming soon listings right here, coming soon to the Santa Clarita market. All right, I'm Connor. I hope this update helped you. If you need any guidance, any information, please hit me up. More than happy to help as always. You can go to SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com, contact me on the website, and look forward to speaking with you soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Be well. My best. Take care.